Welcome back to the Cycle Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different things surrounding mental health, specifically Spravato. We're also going to be talking about first-generation Americans in different cultures. Excited to dive in with our special guest, Jay, who's an amazing provider. Also really excited to have some good chats. So if you're struggling, please watch. We have a couple of different things to go and dive into.
We are talking all things first-gen American.
First-gen American, it is.
How do you feel being a 32-year-old entrepreneur with kids out here? The thing that made me respect you the most was when you told me that you came here in the 8th grade.
Yeah, mid to end of 8th grade, yeah.
And you didn't speak any English.
Basically, how's your Spanish right now?
Horrible.
Oh, about the same,
Okay.
basically. Yeah, that
Like
level of
I know
English.
probably like maybe 4 phrases.
Right. Like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Type of deal, right?
Yeah.
That's basically all I knew back then.
Man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Imagine. Okay, so tell me more about coming to America and then what brought you to psychiatry / mental health.
Oh, yeah, I never knew that I would end up being in the field of psychiatry at all, you know? My thinking has been always just make best out of what you currently have. You know, back then what I had is totally different from what I had 5 years ago. And it's also different from what I have right now, right? So when I first came to the States, it was nothing but survival mode. And for some reason, at that young age, I knew that the easiest and fastest way for me to get out of this poverty, probably just study hard as I can. Yeah. So studying was my only option, right? I mean, back then I didn't think about like selling stuff or being an entrepreneur and things like that, right? So I'm not smart, but I did put a lot of effort in, studying wise.
Yeah.
So end up in a small private school in New York, right? St. John's University, thinking that I would probably want to do a pharmacy program, but
Good decision you didn't.
Yeah, I just end up going for something called PA program without knowing what PA was, right? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then when I got into the PA program, I didn't know I didn't know I would be in the field of psychiatry. I thought I'd be in orthopedic surgery, because I'm a big guy, like I just thought it was cool to be in this, surgical like OR, right? But
Are you good with that kind of stuff? Like blood and
yeah. So my first job was actually at the urgent care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I did practice general medicine for a while. So I am okay with seeing the blood or doing all different kinds of procedures, right? Like stitches. By the way, I just did stitch up my daughter yesterday.
Field day? Went that hard?
Yeah, so she fell in the living room and hit the corner of furniture in her eye. So she got a little laceration here. So fortunate enough that I was able to stitch it up.
Thank God,
That's
Dad's
honestly
the
so
provider.
dope.
Yeah, that
It
is
is,
so
right?
cool.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I split my head open and we had to run to the ER.
Chaos.
Imagine just be like, all right.
I know. It's
Did you have the tools readily available or did you Uber Eats them over? Like,
No, I was able to get some tools from my friend. So
Oh my
did you
gosh.
see it? yeah.
wow, that was close to the eye, huh?
Yeah,
I know.
so close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
But
Wow.
anyways, yeah. But I got into the field of psychiatry, honestly, because of my close friend, who was he was also working at the urgent care, but he was part-time urgent care and full-time psychiatry.
Okay.
He was a nurse practitioner. Yeah.
Okay.
He got me into that field. He just told me about the work environment, all appointment based and hearing all cool things about listening to other people's story, right? Because everybody has different right stressors and the issues that they deal with, right? And I was like, you know what? I like listening to people. I like learning about other people, right? So I was lucky enough to kind of get my feet wet in that field. And when I started working, I just absolutely loved it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of, as I start working in the field of psychiatry, I noticed that, wow, this field became two things. Glorified glorified guessing game
Mm.
and a pill pusher
Yeah.
without much of explanation. You know, some of the I'm not going to mention the name, but some of the psychiatry clinic, they like put 6-7 patients per hour.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And the conversation with
possible?
the provider is like, how are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay, well, how are your meds working? Well, I don't know if I'm having this side effect. Okay, let's try another one, or let's up the dose. And then it's just like, well, I mean, okay. And you trust them because they're the provider. And then you're just on this, I guess, spin wheel of meds.
Loop.
Yeah, seriously. So, like, how can you evaluate somebody and give them a thorough follow-up appointment like within 5 to 10 minutes?
No way.
And within that time, you got to do your charting, send the prescription, right? Like, it's just so realistically, even if you book off 10 minutes for that patient, 5 minutes you're using for charting and sending prescription, admin stuff, right? And other 5 minutes you're talking to patients. 5 minutes you're done.
Yeah.
Right. So
You got to put a stopwatch. You're like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then appointment is nothing but, hey, how are you? How's the meds working? Depending on their answer, either continue, increase, decrease, add, or switch without knowing why.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, we're missing the point here. The patients do not get to understand what's going on in the brain chemical activities and what's making them to feel that way.
Right.
And they don't have any expectations or explanation of how this certain treatment may affect them,
Right.
in a good way or a bad way.
Right.
That's why my approach is a little bit different, right? I spend a lot of time explaining why, right? Like why depressed, why anxious, right? Why can't you sleep, right? And talk about the brain chemical activities and things like that. And even when I talk about the treatment, I talk about how this will affect you, both good way and a bad way, right? So that they have good expectations.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time actually. Yeah,
It's really important.
It's important.
yeah.
Getting to the root.
Yeah, I don't need to see 5-6 patients per hour. I really don't.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather make a little less money but have quality time with the patient.
Yeah. And I think you're also making a sizable difference in their lives versus like trying to be more profit oriented.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people did become a little profit oriented in the field of medicine in general.
Yeah. I think that, when you're in such a capitalistic society, it's like these bigger healthcare systems are owned by VC.
Right.
They're like, we need to see more people. We need to continue to grow profit. We need to see profit margins. And it becomes a game of numbers on one side and not correlating that to what is actually the experience of the prospective patients.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it will come back. 15, 20 years ago, there was no VCs or big hospitals or organizations involved in outpatient settings. Yeah, they were busy running the hospitals, right?
Yeah. Right.
But now, like, there's a bunch of medical groups and practices that own outpatient clinics, right?
Yeah.
Like big pain management groups, psychiatry groups, neurology groups, orthopedic groups, right? It's because of VCs getting involved, right?
Sure.
But I think it will come back.
Yeah.
I think they will be out of the picture hopefully soon, and a lot of mamas, papas,
Coming back
outpatient
to
clinics.
Coming
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
I think
so.
if you can make someone feel seen, because I don't think that these providers are gonna want to just continue to push and push and push. But even on our end, when we talk about like chairs, Spravato chairs, what's the occupancy of said chair? How can we get more patients in? What does that look like? What timing? So it makes sense on like how we could be more oriented towards percentages and numbers, but then also like, the conscious capitalism. It's an interesting conversation.
Right.
So then, coming from Korea, what are some of the trends that you see in Korean households around the conversation of mental health?
Yeah. Funny we mentioned that because I just had a 15-year-old or 16-year-old boy on Thursday. Severely depressed, anxious, so pressured. And it's a typical Korean teenage population right now, with the parents being way too strict and just giving them way too much pressure academically.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's Korean culture is heavily relying on how other people think about you. You know, and in Korea right now, right, there's the reason why it became #1 suicide rate in the world is probably because we care too much about how other people think about you.
Perceive.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be #1 of the class. You have to go to top college or university. You have to work for Google, Microsoft, Apple. Life is not about that. You know what I mean? I mean, did you go to top 10 university?
No.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
And
Yeah.
we ended up being fine.
You went to Harvard.
No.
Oh, shit.
Outside Uber eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Korean like high school system is that you mess up one time, it can't determine the type of school that you could go to.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like the CAQ-Psychiatry.
Yeah.
Like China. It's the examination, basically, right?
So
Yes.
as a teen or a child, if you make a mistake, especially as a teen or a child, right, which are common,
Right.
they make a mistake. It's
Right.
it's like a permanent record essentially.
Correct. Like
Oh,
for
that's
example, here, like
heartbreaking.
let's say my dream school is Berkeley,
Yeah.
and I didn't get in, and I end up getting into I don't know UC Irvine.
Yeah.
I would go to UC Irvine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In Korea, they will give up UC Irvine, wait another year to take the exam, aiming for UC Berkeley.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Even though they got into it, still got
Right.
into a UC
Yeah.
school. Wow.
Yeah.
China's like that. They would
too
have a
competitive.
really high suicide rate after basically the SATs.
Yeah.
Because there's so much pressure. Because it's like,
Right.
will you be able to go to tier 1 city or not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that defines. And I mean, if you were born and raised in that type of environment, you come here, you have kids, you're gonna do what was done onto you to ensure excellence, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but obviously it creates a pretty unhealthy mental health situation and conversation at home.
Yes. So this guy, right, the patient that I saw on Thursday, like he was all A student, right, up until freshman in high school. Now he's sophomore, and first semester he got 1 C. That's fine. All A with just
It's
1
average.
C. Yeah, it's an average, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're still above average, I would say.
Yeah.
All A, but just in one class you got C, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. It's not gonna ruin your life. But the mom was like, if you don't fix that grade, then your future will be this and that, right? You won't be able to go to that school that you're dreaming about, like that kind of pressure. Now the guy is, I mean, obviously he's 15, 16-year-old going through the hormonal changes already, right? Already very sensitive. Now it's stuck into his head. I'm like, okay, now I'm under more pressure, more anxious. What if I cannot do this and that? My life will be ruined, right? I cannot satisfy my parents, right? And it just leads to a deeper hole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, especially just from the parents' standpoint, do you think they are like self-aware that they're causing these problems upon their children?
I don't think so, because because that parent specifically, like, she didn't grow up here,
Yeah.
right? So she doesn't know the culture. And I told her, like, living example, I didn't go to top college, and I was average student back in high school and college, and I turned out to be fine.
Yeah.
Like my sister was average student, if not a little below average student,
Yeah.
and just got into starting a dental school this year, Yeah, it could be a slow starter. That's fine. The process is what's important.
Right.
Don't try to make your child to what you want to be, you know?
Yeah.
As long as it's okay to fail, but as long as you learn from why you failed, that's what's
That's
important.
a lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the process is important.
The tool.
Yeah.
When I was in China, I was there for about like collectively 2 years.
Really?
I started, it was a really interesting time in my life. But one of the things that I thought was most interesting when I actually came back here and I started studying like neuropsychology was how different cultures process emotion differently, because processing emotion is correlated to being able to effectively label your emotion or feeling to then process through it. And if there are certain words that are or are not in language, how can you identify said feeling?
Yeah.
So I'm interested because, Korean is your first language. Now you're speaking English like it's your first language, which is a applaud to you and your hard work. Do you see that there are certain words or terminology that is specifically like English based that like there's no direct translation to Korean?
That's a good question. that I've never thought about it actually. In regards to like, you know, depressions, field of psychiatry.
Yeah,
right?
DSM-5 or
Right.
even just kind of like maybe words even around like
There was, I just can't.
like do the parents even have the words to be able to be like, hey, my child is, you know what I mean?
Right. Huh.
I mean, obviously, just speaking in different language alone, that you cannot really, like for me, for example, right? Obviously, like saying I love you, right? Obviously, there is a word in Korean and that means I love you, right? But if someone were to tell me I love you in English versus Korean, I would feel more like touched in Korean than English.
That's the same way with Armenian as well. Like the way that you say, like, you're the love of your life, right? It's like if you
Right.
say you're the love of my life in English, there's a different meaning in Armenian. Like there's like a word that you use specifically, and then it's like the all-encompassing, like you're my life, the light of my life, and like there's like certain words. So I would imagine if there's probably some English words that around mental health that probably are not as hold as much weight as they do with us versus Korean. Like when you're speaking with, especially with this patient specifically, and you're talking about, were you speaking in Korean?
To mom in Korean and to kid in English.
So when you're talking with mom and you're trying to be like, hey, your child is under a lot of pressure, experiencing a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety because of XYZ, are you like you have to take extra steps to explain it, or is it just like, hey, this is the reality of what's going on? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I usually just tell them about the reality. And mom was actually crying a lot.
Oh.
Because her intention was, well, I said such things for the best of him, right? And I was like, I get the intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the intention,
Of
but
course.
How is it
delivery-
landing?
Yeah, the delivery was
Yeah.
wrong. Right.
It's not landing, mom. But also like how much is lost in translation?
True.
Yeah,
Like-
true.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's really fascinating. So, I mean, outside of like just the Korean culture, because obviously you could speak to that, like, are you seeing any other trends throughout like first gen Americans or like distinctions in between a parent that maybe is not American, but the child identifies as an American?
Right. I think most minority group will understand that the mental health awareness in minority group is very, very lacking. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of first gen Americans of any kind of culture.
Why do you think that is?
Because coming from, I don't know if third world country is the right word if I'm using the right term, but we can't afford to feel depressed, right?
Right.
Like when I first came to the States, I'm in the survival mode. Whether I like it or not, I just had to push through. I had no other option, right? Because if I didn't do that, I'm like, I'm done, you know. I can't. I have to go back to my country again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's almost like you can't have psychological needs met if you don't have basic needs met, right?
Right.
I want to look at this. This is the hierarchy of needs.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about, like, I'm thinking about other first gen cultures and like how they talk about, like, you know, my just even like Hispanic families that I've like worked with and that I'm friends with, and they're like, Abuela doesn't want to speak about depression, right?
Yeah.
She's worried about what's cooking the next meal and like getting everything done and like
Right.
making sure the family's safe. Like there's no room for that.
Right. But a lot of times, you know, when the first gen or like minority group think depression, they think it's just feeling sad and crying, right? But depression is a diagnosis, not a symptoms. You have to know that, right? So for example, right, let's say you and I were walking downstairs and we rolled our ankle. You got an ankle sprain, I got an ankle sprain. Your pain level might be 10 out of 10. My pain level might be 7 out of 10.
It's relative.
You may have a lot of swelling, I may not have any swelling.
Yeah.
Right? So even though we both have the same diagnosis of ankle sprain, our symptoms are different. Right? So to me, depression is a diagnosis, not a symptoms.
Right.
Under the diagnosis of depression, there is crying spells, hopelessness, right? And there is lack of motivation, lack of energy, right? Like feeling cloudy, right? Reduced focus and concentration, right? Those are all the symptoms, right? So this minority group, they may not have crying spells all day, every day, but they may go through a lot of kind of feeling cloudy, feeling sluggish, lack of motivation, lack of energy. Those are the common symptoms of depression for those groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
The hierarchy of needs, physiological, so food, water, warmth, rest, so like clothes on back, roof overhead. Next is safety needs, so security, safety.
Right.
And then the following one is belongingness, and then love needs, so intimate relationships, friends. Above that is esteem needs, so feeling a level of accomplishment.
Yeah, right.
Which almost like, it seems like first gen kids are at like level 3 and 4 versus like, I'm just getting here. We just need like food, water, security, clothes, roof. Why are you not happy?
Yeah.
It's met. And it's like, no, well, we're building on that. And we should be focusing on the relationships and the dynamics that we have.
Right.
And then also our mental health, you know?
Right. So the way minority group parents should look at the kids are not that kids are wrong, but they're different. The starting point is different. You can't expect the same when both of you have different starting points.
Yeah. And it's extremely difficult to relate to another individual because all you have is your own experiences. Nonetheless, you're a child.
Yes.
So you almost have like metacognition on like, okay, I'm experiencing this, I'm relating here, but this individual had a completely different role of experiences, even though they are a reflection of me in so many ways.
Right.
Which is a really hard skill to have unless you've like been, you know, you've gone to therapy yourself or you're interested in, you know, it's like metacognition.
No, totally. No, I really understand that because when I was working at the urgent care, right, when somebody comes in for strep throat, all right, you got a strep throat. A textbook tells me, all right, a patient with a strep throat, just give some amoxicillin and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
But when I've actually had strep throat, I feel so miserable, right? Like I feel like I needed more than just amoxicillin. So next time I see the strep throat patient, I could relate much better. I get it. I know amoxicillin will fix it, but you probably need this pain medicine, that medicine, right, to help your symptoms, right? I could relate much better. Yeah. So
100%.
Yeah, relatable experience is important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to go through
Yeah.
deep depression.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Have you seen any like other first gens that have come across the phones or just like your personal experiences?
I would say my partner. He is a first gen Armenian, Persian Armenian. So I guess a really good example right now, he's really struggling with obsessive compulsive disorder. He's really, really struggling with this obsessive, like it's really, really bad. I tried to get him to do Spravato. He was actually the patient Suzuki said no to because of the Suboxone. He's in recovery himself. And I'm like, I really think that this Spravato would help him because he's up all night ruminating. He thinks he has multiple sclerosis. He does not have multiple sclerosis, but he is like stuck in this depressive, like suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't have energy. He even like is now taking time off work and only working 4 days a week so he can have 3 days off to like just get his mind right. His mom is like, why are you taking time off work? Like, what are you, like, what are you doing? Like, you need to be working. Like, what are you doing? And he's like trying to explain to her, like, Mom, like something's like wrong with me. Like, I want to kill myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's really getting really bad. And she's just not getting it because, of course, they're speaking in Armenian. He doesn't want to tell her that and break her heart. But she's like trying to explain it to him. And she's just like, you have everything you need. Like, you have a job, you have a car, you have a house, you have food. Like, why are you so unhappy? You have a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, what are all these things that, and it's just, it's tough because he doesn't want to break her heart, right? But at the same time, he's really going through it and really struggling. And I keep trying to like push him to go do this, do that. And he finally was the provider, and they ordered an MRI and X-ray to get an MRI of his brain so he can feel relief that he doesn't have, like the actual like things on his spine or his brain, their lesions or whatever they are, because his great aunt removed has MS and she's paralyzed.
Oh, okay.
And it's really a woman disease commonly, but men can get it. But he's like getting psychosomatic symptoms. He's like, my fingers are numb and I have like bilateral pain. I'm like, oh my God, like it's fine. Like, let's walk it down. But it's still so bad that it's manifesting in so many different ways. And now his mom is like what's wrong with you? You know, like, why are you not doing X, Y, Z? And, you know, you always do this, or you're going to relapse, or you're going to, whatever it is. And they just don't understand. Unfortunately, like, I feel like a lot of parents, especially moms in the Middle Eastern families, I've dated a lot of Middle Eastern men, weirdly. Right. The boy is the baby, right? Like the prize child. I don't know why, but it just is. And if anything is either wrong, they're either extremely hard on them or they baby them. And then the babying can turn out to be like enabling, or if they've enabled them so much that they've been babied out of that, now they're extremely hard on them and they're not realizing that they need attention or care.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I my mom wasn't first gen at all, but she would always be like, if we ever had problems, she'd be like, pray about it. She's like, you're not praying hard enough. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
I'm on my knees every night.
What's the level of prayer? You know what I mean? How long I got to be at this? But I think that's something that's very common as well, where it's almost like, what can you do? You can't do anything. Just pray about it. You know?
Right. That's tough. That's a really tough thing to hear. Just pray about it.
Just pray it out.
I think I grew up in Catholic schools. I did 12 years of Catholic schooling, and the amount of times that like I went to, because you had to go to like confession, right? And I'd be like, and they'd be like, you got to confess your sins, you know, you got to confess your sins. I'd be making up sins, you know, what I mean? Like I'd go in there and they'd be like, you got to say 10 Hail Marys and 11 Our Fathers or whatever it is that it is. And I'm like, is this really helping? You know what I mean? Is this obsessive a prayer really helping? Because I still feel like miserable and unwanted in the situation, but religion helps a lot of people too, that as well, you know.
It does, but it's easier said than done, though.
Totally.
Like parents say, just pray or just do that, do this, right? But it's easier said than done, because you may, and a lot of times, like as a person who, let's say I'm really depressed and I know I need to change. Yeah. I know I have to start getting up in the morning, maybe start going to the gym, go out for a walk, stay more active. Even though I know that I should be doing that to make myself feel better, but if you don't have the right receptor responding to your needs, then you're not gonna. It's very hard to execute.
It's interesting you say that, because I suggested to my partner, why don't you start going to the gym or start walking? Like, you need physical exercise. Right. He's been going to the gym every day. That man has been going to the gym every day.
Really?
Okay. And he's really putting in work. He's lost like probably 25 pounds now. Like, he's running, he's walking, but he's still in this mindset. He's miserable. Like, it's not helping him. And I was like, okay, this is where we need to take extra steps now.
Right. Yes.
To either like do TMS, do Spravato, do something, because he's tried meds, he's done all of this, and he's just kind of stuck in it. And it's really hard to watch too. Yep. It's very, very devastating to watch.
Yep.
It's really tough.
So sad.
Things that you would say to a first gen child who has the similar problem to the 15, 16-year-old, what was your advice there?
Say that again.
What was your advice to the 15 or 16-year-old Korean boy?
Oh, like my first response was, it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all right. That 1C is not going to change your life at all. Yeah, we're not in Korea. we're in the land of opportunity and land of freedom.
Relax.
You know?
Most Americans are getting F's.
Look at the president. You can do anything, brother.
No, seriously, I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, reassurance is the key, right, for them, right? I reassured him, right? You know what the sad part was, though? Of course, it's sad that like it's going through the high pressure, you know, things like that. But it doesn't even have a goal.
He doesn't have a goal, like what he wants to do.
How could he?
Right.
He's focused on the C.
But you know what mom said, though? Oh, my kid wants to go into like engineering program, this and that. So
it's hard
in Korea. We say packaged genius, or
packaged genius.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Kind of made up genius. Like the parents are just shaping them, you know, so that they could become what the parents want them to be. You know,
a lawyer, doctor, engineer.
Mm-hmm. What's really interesting too is like I think what it is to be successful in the United States is very different than other countries.
Other cultures, right?
Like even in China, they follow the system so well, and there's so many amazing benefits to that. But when you're trying to innovate, you need to push against the system. You need to say, absolutely not, I'm going to continue and push and try and look at it differently. And that's what wins, right? Those ideas are the ones that get pushed through, and those are the ones that become, billion-dollar ideas.
Right.
So within that, I think there's also a cultural context of like, what is success? Is success following the plan exactly to the T? Or is
for some people it is.
Yeah.
For some people it truly is. Others it's not.
For sure.
And I think there's a big misunderstanding, especially in older generations, whether they're different countries or even in the United States. Just generational differences of people like, you have to do X, Y, and Z to get to where you want to be. And unfortunately, it's just not like that anymore. And it can be for some, but it's not always.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's okay to be lazy.
That's what I derived, actually.
Right.
The Korean's still in,
Like, even if you get a couple of C's and B's, not everybody's academically genius to get all A's throughout your whole academic life, right? But my question is, did you put enough effort?
Did you try?
Did you try? All right. And the answer is yes. And then you still got this grade. That's fine.
Yeah.
Not everybody goes to
Harvard. You can't be great at everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And also people are good at different things. Like I was like doing just enough to get by in my classes, but I was filling
Me too.
venues of like 200, 300 people. You know what I mean? And it's like that social emotional skill was so different, but there was no way that I could on a report card say, oh, he is, an exceptional student at X, Y, or Z.
Right.
You are also working within a system with a very clear but not fully encompassing metric on what defines success. And it's just, it's fascinating. It's interesting. What about to the kids? How do they best communicate to the parents?
So the lack of communication is also another problem.
Are they afraid to say something?
Yeah, because if they say something, they're struggling, right? Parents don't understand why. Well, you're given with everything. You have your own room. You're going to school. Somebody's feeding you.
You have an iPhone.
Look at all those clothes.
Yeah.
Right. They don't understand. So then obviously really the only thing the kid wanted was probably a little bit of reassurance, right? But if they get that kind of response, then obviously they don't want to talk again, right?
Right.
And then lack of communication just leads to a deeper and deeper hole. Right?
Yeah.
And resentment.
So one of the major treatments that you're offering at your facility is Spravato.
Yep.
Tell me more about Spravato in the lens of first gen / some of the experiences that someone could have. Because we've talked about Spravato before on the podcast, but I want to know within the lens of being, a first gen American.
Well, to me, Spravato is the future of psychiatry. Where's the camera? Is it that one? Spravato is the future of psychiatry, 100%. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Why? Because we have to, and I've said it many, many times to most of my patients, right? How the pills work haven't changed over a couple of decades.
Right. It's not like they've injected them over time and been like, they've gotten better over the years.
Right. And, I'll dumb it down as a just general population perspective, right? To me, there are two parts to depression. One is the, neurotransmitter problem, such as serotonin problem, dopamine problem, right? The other side, or the bigger problem is the neuroplasticity, right? Which is the communication system. Meaning, who cares? Traditional oral pills, right? They will help you to have more and active neurotransmitters like serotonins and dopamines. But if the signaling system doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Even if I have a brand new iPhone and if I don't have a service, it doesn't serve any purpose.
It doesn't work, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Spravato is basically those people who struggle with depression for a long time and medication is not working. It's an amazing tool because it approaches treating depression really differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the good thing about ketamine is it offers perspective, which is huge. Like these medications don't. They're like telling your body, hey, body, give more chemicals here. Versus I think a lot of people's anxiety and depression, and I'm not a mental health professional, you are, is like perspective on a problem, or you just need a different vantage point because it's situational.
Right.
For example, I am in school and I got a C. I feel like I'm a failure. The way that my mother or loved ones are measuring my success is based off of X. I don't feel that an antidepressant is going to be the best thing to throw at that problem.
Right.
But maybe a mind-altering substance that could allow you to look at things from a different state of consciousness could derive some strong insights. And when you re-engage in your waking state of consciousness, you could apply those, have those conversations, and be able to get the clarity that you need.
Yes, for sure. And that's why the failure rate for oral antidepressant is so high. Yeah, because it doesn't change any perspective, right? And the way Spravato works is, I mean, I don't want to go in too in depth, but there are basically two parts to it. There's glutamate and NMDA. So think of glutamate as a key.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then NMDA is a lock.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So what Spravato does is it basically blocks the lock. So let's say you have a key to open the door, right?
Yeah.
And key doesn't work. What do? Maybe take it out, flip it over, push it that way, right?
Keep trying.
Keep trying, right? So basically Spravato blocks the NMDA receptor. It forces glutamate to send different signals. So it's been sending this kind of signal only. Now it's trying to utilize different path because brain is so smart, right? Trying to build different pathway so that you could. That's how, like, Spravato can like change the perspectives, right?
Yeah. Right.
So that's why, you cannot get rid of that situations you're in, right? Like, I have a relationship problem, school problem, work problem. Well, you can't just take a break, unfortunately, right? You can just leave them at times, right? So at least the stressors are still there. Pills is not changing to stressors, but it doesn't change your perspective, but Spravato can.
Yeah.
By that logic. Does it make sense? It's easier to understand, right?
Well, I kind of, when you were saying the glutamate piece, I'm almost thinking like, when you're coming home and you're like put on autopilot and you just go like the same path.
Yes.
And then you get like woken up on your, mindless drive to a roadblock and you're like, wait, what the hell? And then you're like, damn, okay, do I have to take Burr back to Townsend, or do I got to go this way? And then, all right. And then it's like a new path. And then you're looking at new stuff and you're like, wait, okay, this path's nice,
Less traffic.
Yeah, you might find a faster pathway.
Yeah.
A faster way home.
Yep.
I'm also curious, specifically with like, especially because Spravato is for obviously adults, right? In this situation with this patient, what would be the treatment plan, right? We don't want to. Would you throw pills at it? Would you just suggest therapy?
He's under 18.
Yeah, because he's under 18. Like,
for this specific patient that I just saw. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure, as I really believe in Spravato, and as I really believe that this is the the future of psychiatry, I think FDA can and I hope, decrease lower the age limit, just like TMS, right?
Yeah.
It's now approved for the teenagers as well, right?
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting. I think Spravato is just the ushering in of these other modalities that are going to come in.
Yes.
And hopefully be like a one dose or like a few dose solution where you could get that perspective. Because I think even with therapy with myself, it's like I was going through an emotional pain point, work through that pain point. I'll see the therapist still once a month, just be like, hey, these are the things that came up. This is what's up. But kind of having that as baseline. But now I'm like in a higher mental baseline because I work through those things and because I have these tools. And I think that if the more access that you have to these tools, and not necessarily a reliance on them, in my opinion, again, not a mental health professional, but like on the toolbox, oh shit, something happened in my life where, I lost a friend, or I'm changing dynamics here, or the relationship ended, or I lost a parent. Like, I don't know if just getting back on a pill and doing it over and over again is the best way versus like, hey, no, you got a broken hinge. We got to replace the hinge. It's not like, okay, we're going to just over and over again do the same. We're going to alter the way that the door works. We're going to get the door back to the way that it should be functioning at baseline.
And I want to just preface with all of that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there are, and you can attest to this again. You're a phenomenal provider. There are appropriate experiences for people who need these medications, right? There's diagnoses that absolutely need to be on medications, but for depression, we should look at it in a different way because there's other mental health diagnoses that. People have schizophrenia, right? They have bipolar disorder. Like we want
schizophrenia, and like, no, get on the bed.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to keep them,
totally
stable,
right.
and they work. They do work.
Yes.
I've seen them work, know.
Sure.
But for depression, I feel like it's just like, I don't see it working often. It's just not working.
Yeah, because unlike other like more concerning psychiatric diagnoses like schizo, right? I mean, you need the medication
for sure.
That is for sure dopamine, related problems.
Right.
You need a medication that could target the specific neuroreceptor. But when it comes down to depression, it's very influenced by what's going on in your life.
Yes.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. Anxiety, same way.
And
it's
trauma,
like, what is
all of
causing
that.
your anxiety?
Yeah.
There has to be a root. There's a reason why. Okay, you're showing up and you have Sunday scaries, or what's happening at the job? Is it the person that you work under? Do you not like that? Do you not like your work? Are you not feeling actualized? Like there has to be a reason why your body is reacting in an adverse way, and it is a sign for you to be able to do deeper exploration, and these tools can help you do that at a faster rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And another reason why the failure rate or success rate for the traditional antidepressant is so low is because that a lot of people do wait a very long time. Like I've never seen any patient comes to me with depression and anxiety for past 2-3 days.
Right. Right.
Takes weeks and months. Right.
Yeah.
And longer you wait, harder it is to solve. Just with the traditional.
The bigger the mess becomes.
Correct. Because that, again, the neuroplasticity, the signaling communication system of the brain will just slowly shut down and down and down and become just numb to everything. Right.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
Damn. I can't imagine struggling through that and then being able to like go to my parent and then them be like, no, study harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, stop thinking. Just turn your brain off. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck?
It's easier
and
said
going
than
through
done.
hormonal changes and all of that.
It's like, are you actively trying to gaslight me? And they're not. They're genuinely like, how do I help this situation?
Right.
I literally am on level 1 and 2 of Maslow's hierarchy, and they're on 3 and 4. I do not have the right skills and tools to be able to help you in this position.
Right.
Yeah. Another big population that I deal with is, mid-age population. The 50 plus, right? So for them, though, when I take care of them, I look at the big picture.
Define big picture.
Like entire life?
No. Like a medical as well.
Oh, okay.
A lot of
Gotcha.
times you go to the psychiatry provider and then
There's
only
other
think about
underlying.
psychiatry. But again, there's a stress management like cortisol related, right? Hormonal.
Premenopause, all that.
Premenopause, fibromyalgia, right? So I try to look at the big picture.
That's really important. I had a friend that recently started therapy. We talked last week, and they were like, the second question that they asked was about like my hormones.
Right.
And I was like, that's great. It's like, you should be looking at these things because it's like the physical.
He's a great
influence,
provider then.
Yeah, the mental, physical, it all is one system. Like we shouldn't look at it separately.
Right.
The physical health definitely related to mental health.
100%. Where do you see your practice moving in the next few years, and what excites you about the future of mental health?
So again, and I try to approach, and one of the reasons why I became independent and try to do things on my own rather than work for somebody else is because I wanted to do things a little different. When I say do things a little different is, and the quality time with the patient is number one, right? And number two is that utilize what the research has shown, like the interventional treatment works better. Why not go that route instead of keep on pushing the pills over pills and pills again, right? And what I'm excited in my own practice is, and I'm really hoping that Spravato, or not only Spravato, even TMS as well, even though I don't offer at the moment. I just hope that interventional psychiatry treatment becomes the first line of treatment than the traditional pills.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to Spravato, what I want to offer really soon is while you're, how the monitor period is 2 hours, I want to offer a therapy service during the last like half an hour to an hour.
Oh, that would be great.
Really smart.
At the moment, I mean, I'm not a therapist, but
Right.
I think I could be a semi-therapist,
I
right?
think that you're doing pretty good
You
here.
know?
I think you're. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't just leave them in the room for 2 hours. Those practitioners who do that, I'm not saying they're wrong, but I think it's just better to spend some time and talk about their needs
Yeah.
when the brain rewiring system is working, right? So I do want to like kind of do this where, you know, I work with really good therapists and then provide some therapy session, like second half of the monitoring
I love
time.
that.
And they prove this. They've done studies. They've done studies
sure.
with
Oh,
ketamine.
really?
So many
Oh,
Yeah.
that with
Especially more in the intravenous intramuscular
yeah,
side.
they've
Oh,
like
okay,
100%. Like I think it was like a 60%
Yeah.
difference of people who did the CAP, like the ketamine assisted therapy with the IV or IM, saw way better results
gotcha.
with processing their emotions. And that's honestly the number one question I get on the phones with patients is they're like, okay, so I'm going to be stuck in a room for 2 hours. I do this medication. I'll feel slight dissociation, XYZ. But what happens after? Like, do I journal? Do I talk about my feelings? And I'm like, you can. Yeah. We always recommend a therapist, you know,
100%.
I always recommend that. But I think they're looking for that in that session. because
Integrated.
They want to process whatever they process right afterwards. And if they don't, they're just going to pack it up in a suitcase and
Yeah.
then go home and they'll be
Right.
like,
What do I do now?
in a room and they're like,
Soup.
you know what I mean? Like that's not therapeutic in
Yeah.
a sense. So I think that would be a phenomenal
good.
thing
Like,
to offer.
That's
Even
my
when
next
I was
plan.
working front desk at the ketamine clinic, people would walk out and just sit and talk to me for an hour.
Yeah.
They just sit there and talk for an
Yeah.
hour. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I am not a professional at all, but I don't think you
Right.
need it. It's almost better if you're not a professional. As
Yeah.
in, like, I mean, get a professional. But like, there's something to be said about going for a walk with a friend or talking to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just being like, hey, I'm a human going through these things and I'm kind of struggling. I'm trying to show up the best of my ability and I'm hitting a rough patch. And it's
Yeah.
like, real recognizes real. We get it.
Yeah.
We're all, you know, going through it.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. That's
Right.
going to be so
Yeah.
incredible.
I thought about it and I was pretty amazed myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about that idea.
Yeah. I think that would
Yeah.
be just even great. Even if you
Mm-hmm.
have the patients that do, you know, start their next treatment, you move them into a separate room and like just kind of chat with them or whatever it is, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Just to have like a
They even have
debrief.
some people that do the rooms where they have like treatment rooms and they have like a observation room.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
yeah, switch
They'll
them
be
out.
like, yeah, within an hour, pop them out.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
they have group or they do individual.
Individual therapy. Yeah. Group therapy helped me tremendously.
Group therapy is
Yeah.
great. The thing is there's two clinics I talked to. One we've been working with for a while. The other one I talked to last week. They have 8 chairs in one room, and they do it in basically like groups. So like it's Spravato group.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
They
Yeah.
say it's pretty effective
And
too.
people like fight to get in with their group.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, people, you see the Raven community, they're all high on
Yeah.
ketamine and they're chatting through their problems. You
Yeah.
know? I was at Coachella. I was doing some mind altering substances and it was great. You know, I found real deep connection
yeah. Yeah.
that I wouldn't have felt if I was just like, oh, hey, dude, you know?
yeah.
It puts you in a different state where it's like working through your own stuff or even just finding a deeper connection.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we're all looking for. And that's what depression, I feel like depression breeds in isolation.
Yes.
Right.
And connection really leads to
Or disconnect.
yeah,
Just not connecting with somebody or
Yeah.
isolation. Yeah. 100%.
exactly. Well, this was so great. Where can people find you?
Oh, I'm in Orange County, Fullerton, but I provide telehealth service as well. But I do prefer in person.
Yeah.
I like seeing
Of course.
people
yeah.
in person. Yeah.
I mean, you got Killer Style. It's a great office. We just popped in.
Beautiful
checked it
office.
out.
Thank you.
It might be in a new location soon because we're growing so quick.
Yeah.
Right. It's been amazing to work with you guys.
Yeah.
It's been amazing to work with you. Honestly, I do have to say that every care coordinator that's been on my pod, I know we've had some changes, but they've been like, this clinic is great. Jay's the best.
When I came and shot with you and I came back, I told everyone here and I told like friends and family about you because
Oh,
I just
thank
had
you.
such a good impression and I was like, you know, people I showed that Korean ad to, like so many. I'm like, look at what he's doing, you know? And I was just like, I was so proud of it, but I'm just like, I don't know, to think that we could create these short form videos and that could potentially help someone that's, you know, 15 to 17 or 20 or 50 or it doesn't even matter, but like is struggling in between two different cultures or two different languages and can't really make meaning of their experience.
Right.
And they could come to someone that can understand and relate to them. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So what about social/website? Where can we find you?
Oh, social media. It's I'm in a process of changing the name. Yeah. So it's just my full first and last name at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
But I wanna, you know how I'm into like fitness bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big on peptides.
Yeah. So I'm trying a couple of examples are like Mind with J or
Okay.
Mind and Body.
Okay.
Mind and
Oh,
Body
okay.
J. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like
Nice.
yeah. So I don't have that. We haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
TBD. What about the clinic?
The clinic website.
Yeah.
It's called Placid Psychiatry.
Cool.
PlacidPsych.com.
PlacidPsych.com.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
If you're in Fullerton, check it out. If you
Yep.
speak Korean, check it out. If you don't speak Korean and you're anywhere and anyone who needs help,
An OC.
Right.
Yeah.
NOC, check
Right.
it out. I would like if you were here, I would be coming to see you.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I was like, I really wish you were in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I would go Spravato treatment there. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you
And-
so much for the time.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.